With Avengers Endgame approaching us, now we get to Captain America Civil War, the Russo brothers' second outing in the MCU. But before I get into my review, here's a little message. Before I go on, don't forget to smash that like button, smash that share button, and if you're new here, smash that subscribe button so you can watch more reviews like this one, and give a little tap to the gray bell icon for notifications on my latest uploads. Back to the review. Captain America Civil War is about the Avengers, and after they've been going through a lot of missions, and especially one at the beginning of this film that causes the deaths of quite a few people, the United Nations wants to bring this thing up called the Sokovia Accords, which basically allows the United Nations to govern what the Avengers do and when they do it. There's one side, led by Tony Stark, who believes that, yeah, we need to be held accountable for what we've done. And then there's Steve Rogers, the other side, who say, no, we should not be governed by them. Like, we've seen what happens when you let a governing body control us. And this results in a clash of personalities and ultimately even a big battle in an airport. I'm just going to say it right up front, Captain America Civil War is brilliant. I didn't think they could top what they did in Winter Soldier, but wow, did they really blow everything out of the water in Civil War. Let's talk about the action. This may be the greatest action we've ever seen in a superhero film. And that's saying a lot, because a lot of superhero films have had some really great action. But my god, the blending of CGI, like all the CGI fights, as well as the actual physical fights, they're all done so well, and it's very comprehensible. The frame rate allows for a lot of intensity with the physical fights. And like I said, the stunt work is just absolutely magnificent. But the action wouldn't be nearly as fun if we didn't understand where each character was coming from. And luckily, this movie really makes that clear. This movie, which is probably one of the best things about this film, if not the best part of this film, is that every single character in this film has a reason for why they're doing something. Every character has a purpose as to why they think the way they do in this film, and why they stand by that decision. Unlike movies like God's Not Dead that try to prove their point or something by making the other side look stupid or incompetent, in Captain America Civil War, they actually do challenge your ideologies. Tony Stark and the other people on his side, like, they're given legitimate arguments as to why they feel like the Sokovia Accords should be signed and why they should go ahead with this thing. Especially with Tony Stark. Hell, this is one of Tony Stark's best moments in the MCU, if not his best moment, because we really see him change. Tony Stark in Civil War is not the same Tony Stark as we saw him in Iron Man. Like, this is a character who has done some shit, has seen some shit. Like, hell, his decision in Avengers Age of Ultron is ultimately what brings him to believe as to why, you know, yeah, we need to be held accountable for what we do. And with Steve Rogers, if this were, you know, back in the 1940s, he would have been like, oh yeah, let's go ahead with this thing. But considering what we saw in Captain America the Winter Soldier, his ideologies on the government have changed as well. And really, this almost kind of makes it feel like the story of Moses and Ramesses, where you have these two ideologies who are close to each other, but have to be forced apart because they stand by those ideologies. And hell, by the end of Civil War, you could make the argument that Iron Man was the villain, especially with how he thinks around the end of this film. However, one of the things I feel like gets overlooked about Civil War is the villain Zemo, played by Daniel Bruhl. Now, some people will try to make the argument that, oh, if he wasn't in the film, then the movie could still happen. He was completely inconsequential. Not really, because there's a lot of stuff involving Bucky that would not have happened if it hadn't been for Zemo. Especially with what Zemo reveals at the end of this film. That would not have happened if Zemo wasn't there. And ultimately what Zemo did at the end of Civil War is what led to what happens at the end of this film. I don't want to give away spoilers because, I mean, yeah, you probably know it already, but if you have seen Civil War, you know what I'm talking about. When certain things happen at the end of this film that have, you know, a pretty big effect on the Avengers, it is because of Zemo. If Zemo hadn't done that one thing, everything would have probably been okay. And I feel like that really makes Zemo pretty strong because, hell, I'll even say this. Except for Thanos, I feel like Zemo has done the most damage to the Avengers. I mean, really, when you think about it, with what he reveals at the end of this film, he did the most damage to the Avengers. And of course, his backstory is so well done. I mean, oh, it's so good. A couple of other new great additions to this film were Black Panther and Spider-Man. Black Panther was amazing in this film. It's really surprising how they were able to set up this character and have it feel like an organic piece of the story. And then you have Spider-Man, who probably has even less screen time. But oh my god, when they announced that Spider-Man was gonna be in this film, I freaked out. Everyone freaked out because it's like, oh my god, Spider-Man? He's gonna be in the MCU now? And again, he feels so organic. He doesn't have a lot of screen time, again, yeah, but with what screen time they did give him, again, it feels completely natural, and he's amazing. He's my second favorite live-action Spider-Man, again, right behind Andrew Garfield. Like I said, Captain America Civil War is just bloody brilliant. I mean, it has the greatest action we've ever seen in any superhero film, some of the greatest character development we've ever seen in a superhero film, and until another MCU movie came around, this became my favorite MCU film. But wow, if you have somehow not seen Civil War already, you need to see it. Captain America Civil War is absolutely incredible. One of the best comic book films ever made, and I definitely recommend you go see it. So yeah, what do you think of Captain America Civil War? Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like, share the video so we can get the channel circulated. Don't forget to support my Patreon on my Patreon page, or if you can't do that, then consider supporting me through my PayPal donation button in the description below. And if you want to see more, click this.